Commissioner Mahler, I understand you have a guest you'd like to do the invocations.
I do for a fact. We're very privileged to have a great friend of Wichita County in the courtroom this morning, and John Ward has been chaplain for many organizations in Wichita County, has been a minister in Wichita County, and done so many things. I won't go down the list. And of course, we all know his wife Mary, who served on Wichita Falls City Council for quite some time, and it is an honor to have John in the courtroom. And John, would you bring the invocation, please?
I certainly will. Before I pray, I'd just like to remind everybody that God's native language is not English. So I hope He will understand the language of our hearts better than the language of our words. Heavenly Father, we come before you to the best of our ability to express our concerns for our city, our state, and our government, and for this Commissioner's Court doing the business of this county. We ask your blessings upon them and their efforts, and upon all the people of this city, and especially for the people around the world who are in such need, hungry, without shelter, even in our own city, people in need. So we ask your mercy upon us all in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen. You join me in the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Take your seats, please.
Judge?
Yes.
Dealing with 35 years of service, free haircut goes to Texas.
Oh, okay.
Could we take
Councilor Brewer, would you join me up here, please? Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Yeah. All right. We have somebody here that. How old are you when you started here, Mark?
I was 23.
23. So, let's see. Add 35, so you're 78 now.
That's exactly actually 23, 35 years and 30 pounds ago.
Okay. All right. I want to offer this certificate from the Commissioner's Court to Mark A. Brewer for 35 years in Wichita County. Congratulations on your reaching a milestone service anniversary. Through your hard work, dedication, and loyalty, Wichita County is able to provide quality services to the citizens of Wichita County. In honor of your service, we are pleased to offer you there's been a change to this. The commissioners passed on this and said at 35 years, instead of giving you a gift, they're going to give you a certificate to a barber shop.
Hey, all right, free haircut.
There we go.
Okay, that was led by Commissioner Harvey. All right, in honor of your service, we are pleased to offer you a Choice Anniversary Award gift. Please accept this gift as an expression of our gratitude for the contributions you make every day. On behalf of the Commissioners of Wichita County, we recommend for you your service, and with you every success as you continue your career toward your next milestone. Your commitment to Wichita County is deeply appreciated. Truly is signed by the members of the Commissioner's Court. Certificate, sir. Thank you very much. Mark, you want anything to say?
Yes, I do. I have something to say.
We do limit these to 3 minutes. But
well, it's not an election year, so let's do it.
Okay.
Actually, I would like to say, first of all, I am really humbled by the voters having this faith in me, for allowing me the privilege of serving as constable for these past 35 years. When you think about the responsibilities that you're entrusted with public office, it humbles me. And I'd like to say, that was, like I said, 35 years ago, 30 pounds. The hair was a lot shorter, but a lot darker.
Thank you. Thank you, served well. Appreciate it very much. Appreciate your efforts. In our program, we've talked about the revenue and the constable and the service papers and all. Your office has picked that up this year. We really appreciate the level that's being performed at.
We've already made our budget and then some.
Yeah, good. Good. Well, we're making up for all those other years.
I don't know what you're talking about now.
All right, take care of it.
For all of you that are unaware of why his hair is long, is he made a promise to grow his hair out so he can donate it to Locks of Love. And as soon as he gets it cut off, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to dye it before they give it to him. But
I would hope.
that's the reason.
They want you to dye it before they cut it off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well,
If I could ask the court to take action or bring items down or for discussion on the consent agenda.
A long one, Judge.
That is my opinion. That is my opinion.
I'll have mine on my desk. You started to give it up anyway.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, and I did have just a couple of clarification questions.
All right, sir. What items?
I changed packets here, and
You want to look at a real copy?
no, I marked up my other one, and then Joy sent me a new one, and I was
While we're waiting on Jeff, can I ask about
Yes.
item number 26?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Maureen, were you able to process that equipment fund for $30,000 for the gun range?
Correct, I paid it that Monday that I said I would.
Okay, so that's already done?
Yes, sir.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
on item 24, Judge. Did we not budget the appropriate amount initially, or that budget was really already pre-approved to cover?
Well, that budget was he came in
The
under.
previous year.
Yeah, it was the previous year when we didn't anticipate someone in there. Do you have any others?
And the item 17 on the energy audit studies, this is in conjunction with the payment from last week for additional preliminary audit work on setting up those services. Will we reimburse ourselves from the loan proceeds, or do we forego that just as an expense?
That'll be counted as part of our percentage of
Okay.
pay down on that.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
All right.
And I'll second the motion, Judge, to approve the consent agenda.
We do have a motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Mahler. Clarification of those two items to approve the consent agenda. Anyone else have any questions on the consent agenda items? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Okay, item number 1 on general business, review and approve the regular bills for payment.
Motion to pay the bills, Judge.
Second.
Any questions on any of the bills? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0.
Judge, I did have one that we had
Yeah.
held out that I'll get with Bobby O today, and it was over those light bulbs.
Oh,
that
yeah.
We asked
Yeah,
about.
over the difference in the
We'll-
older style versus newer.
Yeah,
style.
we'll clear that up today.
Okay.
Get it back in the stack.
Have you coordinated that with Mr. Hampton so that check won't be sent until you release it?
Well, we pulled the,
You pull it, no,
I've got it.
but you don't have the check.
No, I don't have the check.
What check is it?
It's, I don't remember who the company's, I've got it on my desk, I can grab it.
I think it was Granger.
It was Granger?
Granger.
Yeah.
Granger was.
Bobby had on there some older style fluorescent ballasts and things like that,
Well,
T8s and T12s.
T12s on it, we should be buying T5s.
yeah. Okay, discuss and review jail maintenance projects and work orders. Lieutenant? There he is, thank you.
Did you guys get the report last week?
Yes.
Okay, do you guys have any questions on that? Okay, next week, just as a reminder, next week, the kitchen tile project is going to begin on Monday. It should take 4 days, so begin next week and next week. I'll have an update on that the following Monday. So,
What will that do to use of the kitchen? Will that shut that down? So we'll,
Airmark has their own, I guess what amounts to a truck that they bring in. Operations won't stop. I mean, it obviously is altered or it's modified in a way, but we won't be able to wash the trays or anything like that. That's all we're doing. We're just shutting down the tray wash room.
Is there an additional charge for that, for Airmark?
You'd have to talk to Airmark to find that out. I'm sure there is, because it would do it.
I don't manage Airmark, I think you do, so you would probably need to talk to Airmark about that instead of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Do we run Airmark?
No, we don't run Airmark. Airmark runs Airmark, Commissioner.
Oh, Airmark runs their own stuff?
well,
They manage their business.
but you all provide the interface, Sheriff. That's what he's trying to say. In a more polite way is to say that, you all ought to ask the question, is that additional charge? Now, I know they're going to use paper products.
They're going to
aren't
use
they?
paper, so.
But I don't know whether there's an additional charge for them bringing that vehicle or not, or whether that's, and I can't remember that in the contract, but.
I don't think there was in previous conversations, Judge. I don't think there wasn't.
No charge.
I don't think there was. I remember us discussing that
You know,
here a while back.
that's just all we ask. The court does approve all contracts.
Right.
But we count on that office holder to be the primary manager of those contracts and ask those questions. Because when the bills get here, it just saves the question of, why is that charge different? That's all. So, okay. Anything else? Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
None.
Okay. Item 3 is discuss, consider, take action on proposal from Santa Rosa Construction for the new CDA Civil Division offices and second floor renovations. Commissioner Watts will be the owner's point of contact for the project. Ms. Ramsey, you want to, from Harper Perkins, you want to speak to that for us?
We accepted bids for the second floor DA's area, and up until the time that the bids came in, we expected numerous bids. I'm not exactly sure, I can guess, but it would only be supposition on my part, that I don't really, can't say for sure why the other bidders did not bid. We had phone calls from them up until the day before and even the day of bidding. So why they didn't turn in, I can't say. But the bid that we did receive was from Santa Rosa Construction for $435,000, $499. And so it is a qualified bid, and it is a good bid on that. And if you want me to go into other detail, I can.
Linda, the square foot price for that?
The square foot price ends up being right around $90, right at $90 a square foot. Originally, we were asked to sort of do an estimate up front that included using the price that we had off of Lori's area, but the differences as we got into the project, there were a couple of different things. Project creep, which it got bigger. Lori's area had no bathrooms. We're doing significant remodel renovations to bathrooms and additional plumbing fixtures. There was none of that up here on the second floor. There was very little minor demolition, and there's pretty significant demolition downstairs. In addition to that, the Lori's area did not include cost for night labor or for extra security. This area does have night work included in it, as well as approximately $40,000 for security, extra security that they will require to be able to keep the courthouse open at night so that they can do that night work.
Now, didn't we feel like that it would be feasible to negotiate some of those costs? And I know that y'all
Right.
spoke to Santa Rosa concerning their interest in maybe reducing some of these
Correct.
costs?
Correct. We did speak with Bobby at Santa Rosa, and he said that he would be willing to look at some value engineering or just reduction in cost of some things, if some things could be removed basically, or if they could work together with us on what could be done at night versus what could be done during the daytime. So there is some negotiation in that. All in all, though, for what it is and what is being done, $90 a square foot, we're doing some very similar type work at Midwestern that came in at $125 a square foot. So it's not
On a remodel?
Yes, sir.
And we discussed that, Lee brought up that point, and I didn't know till you made reference because it was just the square footage wasn't clear in my mind, but I was surprised that, because just yesterday I saw some homes being advertised to be built for you in the Possum Kingdom area for $168 a square foot.
There is a major difference between residential construction and commercial construction, but even at the 168 in PK, I would nearly consider that a very decent price too, because some of the higher end homes that are going on are going in for over well over $200.
Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, the 435 doesn't cover fixtures, does it? I mean, that's
Furniture, yeah.
furniture.
Oh,
yeah.
furniture, yes, no, sir.
It does include,
Does include
There
fixtures.
is-
Plumbing
there-
fixtures,
there's
yeah, we're
plumbing
not-
fixtures,
yeah.
There's some cabinetry, there's some cabinetry done, but not desks and chairs and things like that, no, sir.
Now, I'm assuming that some of that will use like what the guys that are working on the one side now, we'll probably continue, but we don't have any furnishings for Meredith's office or the new area there that will get kind of reconfigured. We will need some.
Right, but the grand jury table and the chairs and where we present and all that, that will remain the same. The people that are office there now, it's their same desk and their chairs, and so on that one side, there wouldn't be anything that I can think of that would be changed. As a matter of fact, we'd probably gain a couple of desks because they're demolishing one of the offices if you approve it. And so we typically, for example, I don't know about Meredith, if she wants to take her desk. If DAs want to take their desk, they certainly can. Sometimes you grow attached to them because the sheriff's office, the work crew, they redid a lot of the old wood furniture or desks, and they look really nice, actually. You can't
they were
buy
made
them.
of real wood, so they
Right,
can, yeah.
exactly. So on that, we keep the cost down as far as furniture was concerned.
And I had a better understanding after talking with Matt and Glenna about they're going to wall off that wing. So the ramp, which we will reconfigure the ramp towards the end of the project to make it qualifying, but we'll actually wall off that wing. So those workers will come and go from those doors, and there's no other access to the courthouse that way, nor can you come from the courthouse and go down that corridor for a period of time that this renovation's going on, and that may certainly alleviate the security issues very much and let us greatly reduce that 40,000 in that number for that.
Well, I left Sheriff Duke a message, voicemail last week, ask you to work with Matt and talk about what we had talked about on some modifications to the security requirements that we think would be acceptable.
Work with who?
With Matt English.
Oh, Matt Charles.
Yeah. And then the second thing, yeah, he's really the one in charge over there. The other thing that just hit me as you said this, would it not be maybe better to do that ramp at the first part of this
He would either have to come first or last.
Yeah,
You
but
would
I
not
don't
want
know
to-
why that thought just hit me, that all of a sudden you got everything done and then you still can't use that because you've got the temporary ramp in place. No,
Yeah,
I
it could be done first. We haven't.
I don't know whether that's a good idea or not.
Sat down with Bobby and tried to, with Santa Rosa, and tried to actually, schedule out the project, but we will.
Yeah, but Sheriff, one of the issues we want your participation in is let's talk with the contractor about how we might do some things that would modify that to maybe not have to have that full-time security during the hours there. Okay.
And then in nearly instant conjunction, maybe, and I know it's another agenda item here, but if we could use contractor Smythe to help us identify exactly the need for the constable's new area and go ahead and make what changes could be brought to that area. So that way Mark's going to be out of play for some period of time. And Maureen, or Meredith, I don't know how we deal with the workspace for your guys. Not thought about that, but I guess y'all have kind of.
I would assume I need to get with Judge Brotherton about the grand jury, but I think that'll only be a few sessions for them if it's, I don't know. Is the project, how long?
120 is what they told us they could finish easily within 120.
And so I would assume there are enough spaces in the courthouse to make do, and I can house one or two if I need to at the drug enforcement offices.
If they've got coats, we could put them in that 290. But we can do some temporary
We'll figure
modifications.
that out.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm pretty flexible
And
on
we've
that.
got some room here, Judge, if we
Yeah.
needed it.
Yeah.
We could work
And
with
they have
that.
laptops now,
Yeah.
so they're mobile.
Okay. All right.
Are we, just want to ask a question, are we in such a hurry that we cannot go back out and get some competitive bids? Because I'm telling you, 435 to me is extremely high for the work that we're asking
Well,
to be
now,
done.
Glenna, speak to that. Speak to the difference on Lori's because,
Well, she already has about the bathroom.
well, no,
There's
not
about
the bathroom.
$200,000 for the bathroom.
The mechanical and the electrical that Lori didn't have, we have here.
Right, Lori's space was not that much reconfigured so that the mechanical had to be changed. It basically was always one big open space. And so we're moving the offices around and moving things so that the mechanical has to be redone. We did not have to do the mechanical, and we did not change out the light fixtures in Lori's area. There was like one or two that had to be moved, and that was all. And the ceilings, we did not change out the full ceilings. So in these areas, because of the major wall demolition and because of the relocation of all the walls, all the air has to be redone, the ducts have to be moved, the ducts have to be redone, rebalanced, everything there. We are going to go ahead and change out to LED light fixtures. We did not do that in Lori's area, and it will require complete new ceilings throughout. So that is additional items that were not done.
But Glenna, you're convinced in your mind, you and Matt's discussion like this Midwestern project that you don't feel bad about it, 110. This is a $90 a square foot in the market. I mean, are we going to get $75 bid? Are we going to get an $82 bid? I mean,
She doesn't know that. She
Well, I
can't
mean-
answer that.
do you see that? I mean, you see bids all the time.
I see bids that come in, like the closest that I can compare this to is some work that we're doing currently at Midwestern that came in for 125. It's very.
So what's the
similar.
possibility of financially engineering this remodel to about $250,000?
I don't-
And let's limit that. Why?
Well, unless you remove parts of the work, unless we remove.
Well, maybe we
But-
need to do that.
But Lee, we're going to negotiate through some of those. We know the security issue is something we can come around and pulling us basically into the upper 300s at that point. But were we clear about all the light fixtures? I mean, some of those maybe have been upgraded and we can reutilize a little bit of that, or they have to be changed. Do we know that?
None of those light fixtures have been upgraded.
Okay.
LEDs at all. I don't
Okay.
think any of the courthouse has been upgraded.
Isn't that what Terracon is doing for us? And that we hired them to do?
Lighting's not part of it.
That is.
No, it's not. They said it was already done.
Most of it's done.
Most of it's done.
This
It's not a
area,
major portion of the contract. It's HVAC.
but that was changing it from the T8s to 12s to T5s,
Yeah.
not LED lights.
That's the deal. They have been retrofitted, but they've not gone to LEDs. They've gone the first step, and they're certainly better than the 12s, but they're not
I
they're
see.
not LEDs.
That's what I was thinking on.
Yeah.
But just thinking through the scope of work, were there other areas that you would approach them to look at differences that maybe we did differently than what they'll bring a new ideal to the table? Or did he mention anything when
We have
speaking
not
to them?
thoroughly discussed it with him. We have not sat down and had a meeting like that.
Well, if you haven't done that, then how can you recommend that we move forward with this bid?
Well, Lee, I mean, she
has not sat down and talked to them, but she recommends we move forward. Because she thinks we might be able to negotiate something.
Well, the idea is to accept the contractor, move forward in
Yeah.
negotiations. If we do not get the things we think, we could come back to the court. Commissioner Watts is going to be the project person. If it doesn't get there, then we know right offhand we think we can save somewhere $40,000 to $50,000 on it. Now, working out some fine points, having Maureen or her representative involved as we do make some modifications. But the idea is to at least get where we have accepted the contractor, but now we're in negotiation stage. It's just part of the process.
Do I want it to cost half of what Lori's does? Absolutely. If I
Yeah,
could
we
get
want to get
less
it for
than
free
that.
if we could,
Well,
sure.
sure,
yeah.
but now that I understand that the square footage is as great as what it is, and the price came in at a reasonable amount, I don't think that we're out of line here, and
Well, I walked through that rebuild with you, or the remodel with you, move this wall, put a wall up here, some doors here. I mean, it just blows my mind that you could build a mansion from scratch, buy the land, pour the slab, put all the plumbing in for $435,000. We can't erect a few walls, put in a few doors, and put some tile down, and by the way, remodel bathrooms. Give me a break. That is over the top expensive.
Well, for me, it's sticker shock because
Sticker shock.
I had 250,000 in my mind.
well, I
And
mean,
so when you
We
get
had
a-
500 in mind for both projects.
So when you get 435 in, it blew me away.
500 in mind for both projects. What do you mean?
Well,
For district clerk and
Lori's job was how much?
district clerk.
There was no
I
concept.
thought
on
Lori's
district
job
court.
was 400 grand. Was it not close to? I
well,
thought it was every bit of
I
400.
sure believe it is when you put furniture and all that in there.
Well,
But, I mean, that's
she
not
had a
what-
lot of that, and
Yeah.
I'm not, but
Yeah, we got all the furniture.
Yeah. Shelving, we saved a bunch of it, but we didn't, the furniture was, but
Well,
that's not a
when I-
comparison here because that's not what we're talking
right.
about.
But when I saw the price, I instantly thought of this is the same money we spent on Lori's area, but now that I understand that it's every bit as big and it's more detailed, well, it should be.
Lots of dollars.
Lots of dollars. We might be living a little high on the hog, I don't know.
I agree with the second part of that statement.
Well, I mean, I don't think so after what Harper Perkins is saying, and that's all I have to go on that. It's not like we're double the price. I mean, Midwestern apparently thought 125 for work is acceptable, and we're at 90. I mean, that's 35 better. I would think that we're not at anywhere out of line with this project, and we do want to move forward, and we're taking action to move forward on our annex area as well, and that's what I understand we want the best bang for the buck, but I don't feel that we're getting, I just was initially I misunderstood the volume of work there and the overall size of the square footage, so.
Well, part of what happened is when we crossed the 50,000 mark, we created the ADA requirements, and that changed with the restroom situation.
Sure.
And then we have one additional restroom that we felt like was appropriate to be behind the area, so grand jury members and the staff in that area would have that, but primarily the grand jury members being able to go into that restroom without coming back outside. That we try to keep that private who's there. And so,
If you remove the $40,000 for security, you're down to $81 a square foot, which is, it's better, but,
Yeah, but you're not gonna remove it, Lee. You can cut it back. You're not gonna remove all the security budget, I don't think. I mean, you're gonna have
well,
some.
that's anybody's speculation, but
Yeah.
if we have an acceptable plan, the sheriff approves that, then we
I wouldn't expect it to completely go away, is my
No.
point. Yeah, we can reduce it, but I think there's,
But, I mean, without access to the courthouse, I mean, typically, the contractor would be responsible for locking doors behind him right outside, coming and going in the work area. But,
those doors are going to remain the same doors going out the east side.
Yes.
Okay.
what is the change in the ramp that we're looking at? I haven't seen the plans on that.
It is not compliant in the fact that the length and the slopes are not correct.
The landing too.
Well, landing area, that rest area.
In the middle has to be a 5-foot landing, and so when we adjust the length and the slopes and the landing, it basically will take up near similar to the same space.
That's
okay,
gonna
we
be-
don't use that ramp,
It doesn't
and
matter.
it's
It's
cordoned
emer-
off.
It's emergency exit.
It's the only access
Yeah.
to that area for handicap.
if you come off
Other
the
than,
elevator.
you gotta, because they gotta go through those steps.
Yeah. Or just take a real heavy roll and see if they can make it all the way to the landing below.
They can jump it.
It's coming back that's the problem.
So it won't be expanded, you're just gonna expand the landing, is that what I'm understanding?
Well, pitch of it,
Yeah,
The slopes are wrong, and then the landing is wrong, and then the slope is wrong.
But it won't come any farther out than it is.
No.
It'll be corrected within the current length of the ramp.
okay, well, that's good.
and that created itself towards latter in the project, that
How much is that portion of the project?
Thank you, John.
I don't have that broken out. I can get the contractor to break
Well,
it out.
I'll be honest with you, to me, that could be substantial. It could, in my mind, justify $435,000 for the remodel, because they ain't gonna tell them what that concrete job's gonna have to be busted out.
No.
No, we're talking about the indoor
We're
ramp.
gonna have to take a little bit of out, but mainly it's gonna be topped and.
No, we're talking indoor ramp, not
Yes,
steps.
the ramp right here at the step.
Not the outside
it
steps.
is cemented.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I thought you were talking about the outside
No,
steps.
no. I did too at first, but no,
Okay,
it's
all
the,
right,
The
you're talking
one
about
that
the,
goes between.
Coming off the elevators.
Yeah. I'm with you now.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, if you had to do that outdoor deal, it'd get,
but Lee, that
That's what we
came,
thought we were talking about. So I
Yeah.
said, dang, that's not cheap at all.
but this one came after the fact in the project, and I would have never even thought to bring that up to y'all last week about the ramp changing, because Matt and Glenna discovered that as the project was.
This price does include the ramp, though.
Yes.
okay, that helps.
It does help a lot, because that
Anytime,
can't be
anything
cheap.
else on that
Was
entire
first roll,
area
we'll try to
would
pay
be
for it.
renovated, it would have had to have been done.
First row only?
Courtrooms,
What is the Midwestern project that you're working on?
it's actually a combination of 4 different buildings that is a fire marshal and ADA compliance job. We're working on Bowling Hall, Fane Hall, Hardin Administration Building in Ferguson.
Bowling Hall's a new hall. I mean, that hall not even doesn't have age on it.
Well, it was built in 70s, Bowling,
Late 60s, I think.
late 60s, yeah.
It's had additions to it, but
Oh.
Yeah,
fire
the new,
marshal- the
yeah.
fire marshal came through campus and gave them a list of items that had to be repaired and made compliant. And so it's a multiple
So that's dealing with taking care of ADA issues on those projects, similar to the ADA issue we had with this project.
Exactly.
I can
It's
see where
very
you can
similar.
spend
A lot of the
20
scope
grand
of
on
work
that,
is very similar.
It just really adds to the scope, but
Help me.
with that, Judge, I'll make the motion, we move forward with this. We do negotiate and look at any conceivable ideals that can bring cost savings to the overall project, but I want to see us continue to do, and I continue to want to build the permanent improvement fund, and I continue to want to do those renovations throughout, which we need to, so
Okay.
that's my motion.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Gosh, I want to move ahead, but I don't like the number.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can see where you can easily spend 20 grand on that ramp.
Well, see, this is what got me, when you said last week, the house deal, but what I realized, that in the house deal, I can see that, and I always watch, and it wasn't that long ago, we could have constructed a house in the early 2000s, 2004, for about 95 to 100 new home construction, and it has done, when I saw the new home, 168, and then here Glenna say,
Well, that's not
out
the
of line.
norm. That's not the norm. In Wichita County, about $95 a square foot is still the norm
I
today.
think you're hardly pressed on new home construction.
Just go have lunch with Randy Waxman, he'll explain it to you.
I think you left off the one in front of that 95.
It has changed, and I'm just kind of staggered by it, that I was not really, I'm living in a lower square footage price in my mind.
Well, the interesting thing, if you check your homeowner's insurance, and your homeowner's insurance requires replacement value, check that square footage cost. It'll surprise you. It'll be anywhere from $140 to $170 depending on the area, because one home I'm aware of south of here, it's about $30 square foot less than here. And I really thought they might be reversed because of the market. Not the case. Okay. Any other comments on this item? We have a motion by Commissioner Watson, second by Commissioner Beecham. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I thought you just said aye. Did you just change it? No?
No, I agree with it.
Oh, okay.
That ramp being in there is a
That helps.
tremendous cost.
That
That
does
really
help.
does get some of the security money out of there, and you get that ramp put in there. I mean,
That'll
it
help.
kind of brings it down to where,
And then we would like for you guys to try to trim another 80 grand off.
it was only 10 grand.
And it's one?
No big deal, just, yeah.
It's just a matter, we had originally had that out to bid earlier in the summer, and the bidding, because of the other things going on and that we're bidding at the time, schoolwork, et cetera, all of the bidders pulled out, and so we pulled it and we rebid it this time, and so.
Yeah, they said if you come back and do it at the end of summer, then when we're done with all our schoolwork, we can do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was-
So we watched things like that, and we did
Well-
everything we could to get more bidders, and I don't know if you know.
We had like 20. I mean, a bunch of people showed up. They just
Oh, a
didn't
bunch
follow
of
through.
people
We had a
showed
lot of
up.
subs, but we had, I think at one point 8 generals,
Oh, yeah.
or 6 to 8 generals.
And that's a shocker.
We got calls the day before,
Yeah.
in that morning, so I can't explain.
Two things, before I forget them forever, for Meredith too. The post office has, whoever's managing the marble or is that what we have there? You know, they are working it on a regular basis. It has a tremendous shine and looks really fresh and new. And ours is carrying a film or something. So maybe we can find out if we need to who that. But secondly, Sherry Jones's sister, longtime decorator. Yeah, she might give you and come and look and say, Maureen was worried about the length of time to pick the color. But I thought of that day and thought she might throw some pointers in there.
We're going to advise Tommy also on his painting.
That's
issues.
good, that's good. That's James's wife.
Sandra Meadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Could I ask, while Harper Perkins is here, let's go ahead and move to item 9 and
Good
talk
idea.
about that, so we have a good, clear understanding of who's doing what. Commissioner Watts, that's your item. Discuss, consider, take action on to name Tommy Smythe, project manager for.
Well, and I do, Commissioner Beecham was wanting to expedite this, and I'm totally in agreement with that, and I'd like to see us be able to keep the momentum flowing, and Tommy has graciously agreed to supervise the overall scope of this project and kind of help us with that, and be some eyes on the floor in that location too, in a continual manner that we need. So I would like to see us continue to move through and basically name him here as the project manager so that we can begin to put together a scope of work. And Matt has indicated just that the briefness or since we're not very in-depth and most of this is cosmetic, that it would be something that would be quickly done, and we can find individuals as well as our internal people to help us with this. So I just didn't know, is there a role for Harper Perkins in this manner, or
I think so, especially since, because even though it's going to be brief, it's going to be, the portions are cosmetic in nature. When you deal with anything cabinetry or in the floors, in one, we're still going to have to turn it into ADA inspection and plan review, and so there still will have to be plans done on it. It can still be bid in-house, and the in-house work, just because it's done in-house, does not eliminate the ADA requirements
of that.
Texas Department, yeah.
And y'all had explained to us that the ladder above those countertops, that insert that happened, which looks like the original job, but it actually was after the fact, and so that can change and be actually removed and allow for countertop replacement and things that they're not built as one unit, but actually built in.
What are you talking about?
The counters, those windows were put in after, they were originally
Oh,
built.
the glass.
Yeah, they looked like they were part of the original job, but they came later and put that
Yeah, Ralph said that originally that those counters was wide open, and then security issues, that kind of changed up why you're now coming in just a single entry as opposed to the courthouse being completely open. Changed that down there, and they came back and added that later.
But those have been removed, so they're open now.
Right.
The tax office in Lubbock is just a huge room, and
It's
people
wide
come in
open,
and sit
right.
down at their desk. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, and you could go back to that. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't.
I mean, is that the way it used to be a long time ago, that you did that work at those?
No, that counter was there a long time
The
ago.
counter was there when the whole area was renovated.
You've always went to the counter.
You always went to the counter. It was just at some point when, I don't remember, Ralph had told me at one point, there was a big security concern for courthouses around the country. And so that was then later added to the tops of those counters, those telescopic windows. But they can come out and open it back up again.
Because we've done work in Berkshire and Montague and some other counties where it's similar situations, minor, much smaller areas and everything, and a little bit different per county, but they're wide open.
But it allows us to change those countertops. It's not like they're built through them and we would have a horrible.
You just have to, but you're still we'll have to make at least one of them ADA accessible.
Okay.
So that it's compliant height and width and that sort of thing, which would be minor renovations at that point, but you still have to do that.
Okay.
And they'll have to have the plan review and then the inspection.
Do we have a number in mind on this project?
we've not got there by just,
We haven't had any.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a
discussions
scope.
With Tommy on
That's
stuff.
We gotta put a
why-
scope
why I
together
want to put
first.
this item on so we can develop a scope of
Exactly.
work
And then come back and present where we're at, costs associated with it.
Right.
Okay, so if we look at this, Tommy may get your all's advice on who to get some, are we talking bids or quotes?
Well, it'd be over 50, so I mean, you're.
We think we're gonna go over 50? Well, the
Oh,
carpet,
yeah.
if we go carpet and tile, depending on what we put for floor
Carpet,
trim.
tile.
Well, if
And-
you're talking about what we spoke about before, which is basically all the public areas on first floor, including then whatever happens in Tommy's areas with regards to flooring and counters and whatnot, I mean, yeah, you're going over 50.
Okay, so it's gonna need to be bid,
Yeah.
okay. But he's gonna do a lot of the legwork of putting that together, come back to you all to develop any plans such as the counters and the ADA accessibility. Is that gonna be the case on both sides of the hallway? On the tax side
Yeah,
also?
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, each individual, like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm sorry.
So I'm just saying, this is adding to,
Each
it's not,
department would have to have, if a person has to go to two different places to pay two different bills, you
gotta
have to have two different ADA compliant countertops.
Yep.
would there be any chance you would put a person that's cross-trained and you'd have the handicap?
Now, that's departmentally,
Well, I'm looking at Tommy,
I'm-
and he's thinking, I can tell. But
I'm not gonna say, Judge, that's completely out of the realm of.
I just a thought, it's,
Yeah.
then we wouldn't touch that
And
one
more
side.
so if Jeff Lee, Marks, Barry, if we went with an open concept, which is basically what all these tax offices are going back to. I mean, Lubbock is just like walking into a bank vault. That really gets accessible. I mean, you could probably to some degree mitigate even some more expense if we did go with an open concept. Because I mean, and it's like going into a bank vault.
Well, it's something we ought to look at, for sure.
Well, let's
Well,
talk about that and develop a scope of work.
and Tommy, it's gonna be your plan to just create your correct workflow while this is kind of happening is gonna be a little bit of the, making sure you've got both accessible at some side while we're working on the other side, I guess.
how far now are we going on down the hall and around the corner? Are we addressing all those floors? Have we decided that?
Just the first floor.
right now.
Well, I understand that, but all the first floor?
But, I mean, while we've got the painters there, we need to fix the indigent health area
Yeah.
best we can make that,
Well, like that whole hallway going all the way around and
Yeah.
back out the 6th Street door and all that, I mean,
It needs to all be done.
The whole loop, including the
Yeah,
stairs.
I mean,
up
it
the
would
second,
be advantageous, I would think.
Yes.
Well, the restrooms need to be upgraded. We've already had a problem over there with some leaks and almost got structural on us with some of the
You
deterioration.
mean on the one
first floor.
outside of
Yeah.
Tommy's back hallway?
That needs to be addressed. We've got about 3
I'm gonna
different.
really miss that blue tile.
Well, we've got 2 or 3 different colors, so you can find one you like. That's true. I just, we need to kind of get all that in the process is, how far are we going? Because that's going to make a huge difference on what the number is. And the only bad part I see in this whole deal is we just don't have an answer for what I think is the worst deal over there, and that's that entrance off Scott Street.
And we spoke
It's
about that,
just-
Barry, when we met with Matt and Glenna,
Yeah.
and that
Tear the
maybe
building down and change
if we
that.
just put today's modern look into that area, that it will change the entrance without creating a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah,
You know,
because you're
something
going to
that-
get structural if you really work on
Yeah,
that
you've got
thing.
a number of issues. I mean, it's just a hot mess of.
It is a
elevator,
mess.
and That's a different level than the main floor. That's-
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just going off the top of my head. That's
Yeah.
not us really digging deep.
I've stood over there and scratched my head and looked around and
Why
thought,
was that? Why does the elevator not line up with the floor?
Because it wasn't.
You'll have to ask the architect.
Yeah, you'll have to find those.
well, it was obviously an add-on, I think you can tell.
Yeah.
I would
That used to
assume.
be, that used to be a Was it dealership or?
Well, it was a car dealership.
Yeah, car dealership.
Dealership in 1962.
I know, because I remember Ralph had said that the ADA elevator at the back used to be a car elevator.
Car, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took you up, and so that's why you got that larger area back in the back. It seems kind of odd.
I suspect that front elevator was an add-on, and, you know, might have got it off of eBay or something, and it just didn't.
eBay didn't even exist.
That didn't even
It just
exist.
didn't quite- They missed it by this much. But boy, that is oh man, I've stood over there and looked around thinking, well, no, well, you know, there's just not I really wish we could block all that off, make a completely new, fresh entrance that would just, but once again, then you're getting structural and it just gets, the 430-something thousand would look small by the
Yeah,
time
look
we
cheap.
got.
You blew past that.
Yeah, but boy,
Well, the good thing is that elevator does go up and down pretty reliably now. There was a time
Yeah,
you
it was a little
want to use that
shaky.
elevator if you were going to be one of the few people in the building.
About a year and a half ago, Mr. Watson and I got on that elevator, and it kind of quivered on its
I
way up.
wonder why.
Well, right
It
now,
was putting out now.
there's some of that load has been
A
light.
year and a half ago, there was a lot more to you guys than there is now.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Eddie Trigg wouldn't even ride that elevator.
Oh,
I think it's a hydraulic elevator.
It is.
yeah.
And like I said, it works, it's still slow. I usually pack a sack lunch when I, but it works good.
Yes, sir, it does. It's been reconditioned,
Judge,
refurbished.
what's our action to move forward,
To
name
move forward.
Tommy, and then let's put a group together to work that? I'd make the motion that we
Second.
move forward with that.
Judge, do you need to add us on there as well to work with Tommy?
We've already got a scope of work, a
I said we
project
need to
number.
formalize something.
And I just wrote in here, we might add that and include Harper Perkins as necessary to develop the bid documents and site plans.
Okay.
Tommy, will your bond as tax assessor cover your,
Judge, I knew you'd eventually gonna.
Well, I hope it will, because that's all the money there is. That's pretty well done.
okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as stated and add the use of Harper Perkins to develop site plans and bid documents. Is that good?
I think so.
Okay. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Thank y'all. All right. We're at item number 4, which is discuss, consider, or take action to direct the county auditor to delay payment of 1 week of the overtime accrued during the pay period ending November 30th to the following pay period ending December 14th and actually paid on December 22nd. Subsequent overtime payments will be delayed by 1 week, and regular payroll approval will be scheduled on Monday or Tuesday if Monday is a holiday for the Commissioners Court meetings. Payroll periods, it lines this out in 2 subparagraphs. The whole effort of this, obviously this court doesn't mind bidding, but we wanted to move this so it happened during a regular term of court. We're going that we approve the payroll prior to it being paid. So that's what all of this does, and it's the court doing this and directing the auditor to develop this in the pay schedule.
What happens if we don't agree with the payroll? We don't pay it anyway.
Well, you wouldn't agree with not paying the whole payroll, but you might question a certain item and pull that portion of it. If it's the person's regularly scheduled salary, it's not that. The biggest thing is going to be whether you disagree with an overtime amount, and you could pull that out of it.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Bond.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Over the past couple of years, we've kind of made efforts to keep some things broken down by the pay week and other things broken down by the pay period. And I'm a little uneducated when it comes to how the auditor's office breaks down their payroll. But my recommendation on this issue, instead of doing it 1 week, I would recommend postponing an entire pay period, because for auditing purposes, we're keeping those 80-hour work blocks, we're keeping those together, which is going to make them easier to audit later down the road, instead of splitting them up into 2 different work weeks.
Okay. I think that 1 week idea was done. Commissioner Harvey had voiced some concern. I agree with what you're saying. I think if you keep them this way, you can easily tie them back, but if you got the split weeks.
And I think anything that we can do to keep those pay periods together is naturally in the best interest of the county. And the employees, it's going to be easier for them to track their overtime. You know, they know if they work it in pay period 3 of the year, they're not going to get it until, what is that, pay period 5?
Yeah.
It's going to skip pay period, so. But when you start splitting those weeks up, it's going to be a lot harder to keep track of.
I agree with that, and I don't know the problem the auditor's office would have with that. We could certainly consider that, approve that, and if the auditor comes back with something different, but I think what they were really trying to do was not hold people's money longer. But one of the things we wanted to forecast this far enough out that people would know that was coming.
We're still going to pay the payroll. It's just we're talking about the exceptions to the normal payroll process.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's to be expected, I think, with any business. I just would rather see us keep them together than split them up.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Make a motion that we amend it to delay for an entire pay period and reset.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second Commissioner Watts, to approve the item as stated, other than changing, instead of delay overtime from 1 week, it'd be delayed for 2 weeks to keep pay periods consistent. Any other comments or questions?
Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thanks for that. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. Item number 5, discuss, consider action to approve quote from Solar Winds in the amount of $5,390 to be renewed annual maintenance for network performance monitoring software and web help desk software to be funded from 100.412.3151.
Yes, thank you. This is our annual maintenance fee. It's a pre-approved item in the budget, and this just gives us access to any updates that have come out for the next year for this software. And we use the help desk software a lot, and we're going to be continuing to push to use it as our various projects are going to be unfolding, and we're not going to be sitting at our desk all the time.
As this is an approved budget item, I would make the motion that we go ahead and approve this.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor of the motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Pollard, as stated, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 6, discuss, consider, take action to authorize the IT department to spend up to $7,500 for the purchase of SSL certificates for internet-facing servers to provide security for the internet applications to be paid from 100.412.3151 computer software and transferred to the appropriate line as determined by the code. Ms. Cully.
This is for SSL certificates or security certificates for utilized for the Polycom software they implemented for the attorneys to log into the portal. This also covers our SSL for our website, our firewall, and then time clock that will allow people to clock in and out from their cell phones. this is a budgeted item.
Judge, budgeted item, I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as stated. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 7, discuss, consider, and take action to name the courtroom at the Judge Arthur R. Tips Juvenile Justice Center in honor of Judge Robert P. Brotherton and approve shared expenses from Juvenile Probation Department and Permanent Improvement Fund. Mr. Wolf.
Thank you, Judge. I'm sure you're aware Judge Brotherton will be retiring from the bench at the end of his term in 2018, and I think of no better way to honor him than to name our courtroom at the Juvenile Justice Center after him. And he has not only served the citizens and juvenile probation of Wichita County, but he's also served at a statewide office as he was the past chairman of the Texas Juvenile Probation Commission. He served at the commission for 10 years, was appointed by then Governor George Bush. So I do think that it's fitting that that courtroom be named in his honor before his retirement at the end of 2018.
Judge,
so moved.
I've never
Absolutely.
been real big about naming things after people real quick, but I think in this situation, because of the scope of his work, not only locally, but as Kirk says, statewide, it's certainly, I think,
It's a well-deserved honor.
well-deserved honor. I really do.
Is that a second to Commissioner?
That is a second, you bet.
And can, on this note, and I know that we spoke to Matt and Glenna about that deal, but when this time comes, I'm assuming we'll have a dedication or a
Yes, sir.
acceptance.
Yes. And I've talked to Matt with Harper Perkins about it. I talked to him before today, but we also visited about it this morning. So the ball's rolling on all of this for the purchasing the lettering and everything that goes along with it. But yes, we'll have a.
And we're going to do that out front, isn't that correct, Kirk?
Yes, sir. I think that on the exterior of the building, we'll have the signage, the lettering to match the TIPS language that's on the front of the building. We'll put this going into the entryway of the courtroom lobby. And then on the inside of the courtroom, of course, have his portrait and a plaque signifying, his years of service. And,
Be very appropriate to have it outside because that's limited access to that
right,
courtroom.
yeah, when we have it, sure.
And the people that see it may not care that much.
Well, we have, there's an awning that covers going into the lobby area, so we have it in the lobby area, and then of course going into the courtroom. But
very appropriate.
We'll do it right.
And you're not going to do those letters in burnt orange, right?
No. Judge Fudge wouldn't like that. He would want the angry.
Well, I just know that, like on ours, and we had to do a little, when we pulled out the old Wichita County precinct sign, and then we had to do a little surface and put those metal Preston building signs up. I wish we had done something after I'd completed with Bill there.
Oh, yeah,
I just didn't really do that.
He didn't want that.
I know, but I just think that it really makes the.
Jeff just said it wasn't about him.
Yeah, well.
It's about us.
We were pushing the limits.
He appreciated the outhouse being named after him a whole lot more, I think. But.
Not very often, I got to go to Judge Brotherton, and I told him about this, but I told him, it's not often the chief gets to tell his district judge, you don't have any say-so in this matter.
Good job.
Thank you.
We do have a motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Muller. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 8, discuss, consider, and take action to approve ADT's quote dated October 3rd, 2017, the amount of $2,363.75 less any included taxes or discount offered, with 1/2 of installation price due on order and ongoing monthly service of $119.44 for a new security system for the Precinct 4 site, payment from 224.241 camp expense budget as determined by the county auditor. The only thing you might think on that, part of that expense, because you have the JP office there and a court security fund.
Yeah, Devin, would you bring that up, what the judge said, you know, everything else y'all allocate, and she's saying that JP, that fund that's there may serve in a direction to buy down some of this equipment.
I'll talk to her about it.
Well, it needs to be in the motion to.
Can I do that?
Let me just say what had happened here when we,
Yeah, there's a problem with that too.
when we changed in our phone system upgrade, what we had had for numerous years quit on us, and the company could not bring it back up, and IT had offered several solutions to them, none of which seemed to, they were able to pull it back together. So we began to look, and I got to commend IT because they priced it out themselves, the entire work scope, so we understood what we were looking at. And then we identified that this group could give us a good price. They did give us a good price. IT went back to them and chiseled that number down to even get a better price. So we were tickled with that, and I don't want to give away the security features here, but we have a lot more modern security than what it was from
the other thing. There's normally a prohibition in us paying anything in advance for work not performed. That's
Yeah, I had a contract like that. The auditor said, sorry, it's against law. We cannot prepay for anything. So we just need to visit with ADT and just tell them we can't put that up front.
Yeah, and this is really, I think it was maybe split, was it not? But that won't be an issue.
Half up front's what they requested, but
yeah, that won't be.
We can't do it.
And then proportionate amount from the JP Courthouse Security Fund.
Courthouse Security Fund, Devin, if you would ask about that.
Is the JP's?
Is that what they were referring to?
No, you can only use that for technology.
They have part of it would be technology, but there's also a security fund. And we'll just put down either technology or security fund as appropriate.
Actually, is the security system not considered technology?
I would have to read that. I don't.
So it's real gray, it's not?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually items that assist them in their ability to take in funds. So.
Good, yeah.
And I haven't read it in a while, but it's what it helps them.
These would be items to
secure
help them
the funds.
retain the funds.
That's a good stretch. Okay, but we'll have it down as R to see what.
Our judge, are they, I mean, is it possible that the charge, not the monthly, but, I mean,
And the monthly
could
could
the
be-
capital expense here be that
Both the
paid out of?
both the capital expense proportionally and the monthly fee can be proportionally paid out of probably the JP Courthouse Security Fund, which is a $2 fee, I think, on each court case they have.
Okay. I'd make this motion, we move forward with this.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the item as stated, but to include proportional amounts from either JP Security or Technology Fund for initial project and monthly fee.
We had been broken into twice, both times full by the a burglar alarm that was set off. Motion detectors picked up activity. They actually busted glass out and climbed through. And because there was motion detectors in there, of course, you know, in the late evenings or a lot of time can pass before there's activity drive by the building to
Right.
even notice much. So
Did they steal something?
tried to get in there to tear up, steal computers and stuff, but when the alarm went off, it fooled it.
We're still good on item 9. We can move on to item 10. Discuss and consider take action to approve the county treasurer's report for August 2017. Oh, no, we didn't. Thank you. All in favor of the motion? Yeah. I read it all again. Signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Commissioner.
Just a formality.
Bob, that was on the last
You
one.
already approved it?
No.
No, that
It was the last
one. No, sir.
I won't have to
We
give
want to
you-
hear your golden words before we.
By the way, I have my lawyer here, so Sure.
Thank you, Brother Bob.
Thanks, sir.
Well, gentlemen, beloved comrades and project manager Smythe. You're looking at August, and if you got any questions, I'll be glad to address that. We're, according to trailing 12 months, we're 14% ahead. That has to do with some of that borrowed money, although we're slowly but surely eating that away. The general fund account, though, that you're looking at on that front sheet of my spreadsheet, which actually impacts real dollars, is we're 15% ahead of where we were last year. There's a surplus, or I don't know about a surplus,
Increase in revenue.
but there's an increase in assets there of a little over $3 million. Just don't tell Tommy. I can see some Mexican tile being laid.
Hey, Bob,
Yes,
excuse
sir.
me one second.
Sure.
Tommy, would you call the appraisal district? They're needing a quorum.
Oh, my.
And they text.
I've got to get over there. I knew this was going to be an important meeting here this morning.
Yeah. Well, that's why we moved your
I'd like to
item
stay and
up.
visit with y'all longer, but I got to go. I'll talk to you later, Dave. Good to see y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob, how will you, on the new bond money coming into flux, how will that be reported in this report?
I'll give you a spreadsheet that's separate from these, just to keep in the same spirit of what we've already talked about. But on this right here, I put it on there as a line item on the 4th page.
It's in purple.
Purple. Did you not get one?
No, it's purple. Well, I handed it to Barry, but you
Very good.
Barry got one.
I thought I had one.
No, when you put it down, it was right here. I took it, and I realized he didn't have one.
he handed it to me. You can have it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I laid yours right here, bro.
That's what I thought I got.
This is scary.
It's Paperwork Reduction Act.
Maybe.
Anyway, it's in purple, and you see there where even 85 basis points on 70 million is 26 grand. 1 month's interest. Problem is, what is it you say, chickens always come home to roost. Somebody's, there was 5 sheets of it.
Nancy, did you get one?
It's magic.
Yeah, there it is. Never mind. Some of that one, thank you.
I think Bob handed
Yeah, I
mine to
didn't see
me. I'm
that.
pretty sure.
Okay.
he did. Yeah.
Well, I picked up the one that was there, but I had one under my sheet. Thank you, Bob. Okay. Any other questions or comments on the financial report?
I just want to say, Bob, I appreciate what you brought to us about this investment on this. Saved us lots of money, how you structured the plan. And so that I could get it in scope in my mind, that I just ran a simple interest projection. $70 million using your number anticipated, let's say, and you left it alone all year long, which maybe the most of it we could, but it was about $325,000 in interest across the year. And that's sounding about right, what that would do. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, in these times, that's right, beats a stick in the eye.
But now you're calling a year from October 1st to September 30th?
Well, from the length of time that he has the majority of 70 million, we could get 12 months of play out of it. It is somewhere between around 325,000 on 70 million. So, you know, you've got years in play here, and you can kind of put in perspective what your money makes as compared to what $70 million can make over a year's time. But it should be in that ballpark.
Yeah, well, but depending on how that construction flow schedule goes.
Exactly, yeah. Thanks.
Can I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the county treasurer's monthly report and authorize the court and treasurer to sign the documents. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. This afternoon at 1:30, we will have discuss, consider, take action on a TAC health benefits plan with the HRA benefits and deductibles and county choice and other options. That may or may not lead to a decision, but we're starting to get, time-wise, we've got to get something decided so the auditor can put together the package for the enrollment period that's required that we have for all employees to attend and make their choices on any of the investment, or not investments, but any of the optional programs they want to take.
And if someone can set in and have the time to hear, because what we're talking about is helping with this deductible change that's going to occur, and it's going to be beneficial to all of us, I think, as employees to see that. So if y'all can fit it in to come and listen to Ramisha, that'd be great. And Judge, I did speak to Stacy Rogers, Young County Commissioner, and then he put me in contact with Sherry Roberts, their auditor, and they do have that plan. That they didn't develop a new one. They went with the TAC plan. They are issuing the checks.
TAC is?
No, the auditor's office issues the checks, but TAC basically gives them the information to issue the check.
Okay.
So, but they went with the proposal, a plan of tax on this. And she's going to show us several today, I think, are options of plans. And so there's not a cookie cutter, or we don't tell them really the parameters. They already have that set. So anyone that can hear it, it'll be beneficial, I think.
Well, the other thing that's interesting in this, those people who have dependents on the insurance plan have to be offered the same HRA benefit as the employee. So that was something we didn't realize in there, which adds to the potential cost item. And so part of this is a calculated guesstimate that they'll make. But
the actuaries show that the savings that we're talking about, overall plan change, brings just over $500,000 to our insurance. It's a buy down. The county saves from what it would have paid to what it's going to pay, $500,000. Now we will spend some of that money, but less than half of it, adjusting these deductibles that occur, that when if Barry goes to the doctor and he surpasses or he meets his deductible, we're going to reimburse that or try to reimburse that. It's our understanding, and by doing so, we won't see the whole benefit of $500,000, but we'll see
some of it.
Over half of that benefit.
Now, just me, not anybody else, right? Thank you. Is she gonna be here, or is that gonna be a phone call?
She'll be
She'll be here.
Should be here, yeah.
Makes it better.
Have you ever met a more positive, more knowledgeable
And knowledgeable.
person?
I like
she's
somebody that knows about their
really
product.
outstanding.
That's what's beneficial.
When she's here, you learn something.
Yeah.
You always
And she
do, yeah.
just explains it on,
Yeah.
layman's
Thank you,
terms.
Claire.
Okay, we're down to public comments. Anyone in the audience? Yes, ma'am. Ms.
I
Kennedy.
wanted to introduce the board to our newest attorney in the civil division. This is Becca Skupin. She comes to us from ending her federal clerkship with the Beaumont District Federal Court Judge and from Baylor Law School. And we're excited to have her.
Wow.
Great qualifications, and we're lucky to have her. She should be a tall building lawyer somewhere in Dallas, but she wants to be in government work. And so we're lucky to have her with us, and she's doing a great job so far.
And say her name again, ma'am?
Becca Skupin.
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 Okay,
Yes.
great. Becca,
On her
glad
resume,
you're
did it
here.
show that she'd ever been to Crickets or Buzzard Billy's? Never? Oh my gosh. Some of
She
the
made it
better
out
kids.
around the time of the hurricane.
I did.
Wow.
So you just blew in, huh?
She came in, but her furniture didn't for a few weeks.
And Becca, where is home for you?
Sherman?
Sherman, Texas. Oh, wow.
Well,
So
closer
you're a
to
North
home.
Texas girl.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
okay.
Well, we're glad to have you with us.
Welcome aboard.
Is she going to work with Bail Bond Board? Or are you not
She
doing
will
that?
be, yes.
Will be,
As soon as
all
I can
right.
get her, yeah. Well, we'll be bringing her to Bail Bond Board and starting on that. I've been hiding her for a little bit so I can get some work done without y'all knowing she's around. Without the calls coming in yet, so.
Well, you don't want to expose her to just
That's
everybody.
right.
Yeah. That's-
Very good. Anyone else? Okay. Commissioner Beecham?
I have nothing, Judge.
Commissioner Harvey?
Burke Rouseabouts on Thursday will be doing it's the annual Burke Burnett Volunteer Fire Department's banquet, meal appreciation banquet at the community center in Burke. We had a friendship festival this last weekend. Some of our board members from the Senior Citizen Center set up, sold snow cones to kids. We raised just about $600 selling snow cones to feed our seniors with. The Friendship Festival was very well attended. On Friday night, we had a glow run, 5K, I think it was 5K.
Wow. How'd you
Glow
finish?
run. Huh?
How did you finish?
I finished at Riesel, Texas, in the lumberyard about 9 o'clock that night. I think that's about it. Let's see.
But it was a big crowd. It was a good turnout.
Yeah, good turnout. There's something else happening this week too. Got the volunteer fire department deal. Oh, would like to recognize that last Saturday we had the funeral for Preston Giles, and Preston was really involved in the casualty community, and he served on the working board of our J-List program at Shepherd Air Force Base, and he was instrumental in helping us get all that passed. And we will be needing to replace Preston on the J-List board, and if anybody knows somebody who'd be interested in that from the casualty community, we would love to visit with them about it. So. Okay, that's all I have. I don't see anything on Saturday. Yes, somewhere.
No, already passed.
Okay. Commissioner Moore?
Wichita County Mounted Patrol had their truck and tractor pull over the weekend. Big crowds, fun time. Most important thing that was done is they sold a Remuda both nights, raised $4,400 for Children's Miracle Network.
Wow. And what was that?
Well, the way you do it is you sell, if you've got 5 in a class, you sell them to the audience, and whoever buys them, if they win, you get half the pot, and half the pot goes to Children's Miracle Network. Well, it just so happened that the guys from Beef Tractor bought the winner both nights, donated their half back, so it was $4,400.
That's awesome.
$4,400. That's a pretty nice deal. So just some folks taking care of the locals. All that money stays in Wichita Falls, and that's a good thing. So good time.
A huge crowd.
Yeah, huge. It was big. A big deal.
Mr. Watts?
I want to remind everyone that our Texas Parks and Wildlife Kid Fish program is this Saturday at Gordon Lake in Iowa Park, and it's fun for the kiddos. Everything's furnished, even hot dogs and Cokes throughout the event. It's from 9 till noon at Gordon Lake at the Pavilion. Great place to have it. Weather should be very nice, and fish will go in Thursday. And they're real nice sized channel catfish, weigh anywhere from 1.5 pounds to 3-4 pounds. And so
Jeff, who's the entity that actually puts that on?
the City of Iowa Park with 4B. That's how we fund it. And so it's just a great event, and we've always had, as long as the weather cooperated, great numbers.
Looks like the weather's going to fall now.
Haven't you done that in Mark Burnett?
No, Rodney did a part of it, kind of something like that at the big water area there that y'all have. Y'all had a fishing, but he went and got fish from the same place we get fish from. He had called and got that set up, and
I knew there was some. Those kids had a blast.
Yeah.
They put so many fish in there. They're going to catch one.
Yeah, and we actually set up a fish tank area for the little kids by themselves where it's hard to not catch something. So, we kind of gotten our equipment together and lay out over time, and so it's a good place to just come and watch the activity while walking around the lake. So,
sure,
that's all I had.
I couldn't help but being a trained observer that nobody on the court were bragging about some other high schools, and I just had to say that no alumni and Mark Beecham's alumni Raiders went to the stadium at Memorial Stadium Friday night, and I'm sure no one took a knee during the national anthem. And I don't think about the Coyotes didn't show up or something happened, but
they were with the Cowboys.
It was a pretty good game, I understand, from the Rider side. But
yeah, it was as good on my side.
Had some sad faces down in the sheriff's office this morning as I come through, and of course I had to make sure I gigged them because they gigged me. So it was good to see some football. So it's been going on. I don't know about how Park did or how Park. I know they didn't. So it was just a bad weekend for everybody.
All I know is the Aggies kind of didn't win. Against, it's hard to win against Alabama. They're ranked first, second, third in the conference. I mean, come on.
Wind up playing yourself for the championship.
All right. I will be going to Austin this week for a Judicial Education Committee meeting, and also Jim Bethke's retirement as the longtime head of the Texas Indigent Defense Task Force, but also to meet with David Slayton from the Office of Court Administration and to talk to them, since we're moving the collections out of the Sheriff's Department, how we're going to deal with doing that, and look at how that rolls into what we're seeing on bond reduction, what we're seeing on fines and fees, or I love this wording, and I said this to Commissioner Harvey this morning, on anyone who is assessed a fine, and it's an undue hardship on them or their family, then the court's got to consider whether a payment plan is appropriate or an alternative is appropriate to that. And, that's going to be an interesting thing to judge. They use almost, it's 125% of poverty to make the decision on whether someone's eligible for a court attorney or whether someone's eligible then for being considered for an alternative, which would be community service or something else, to see how that will work out. But they are offering some grant money in there, then Mr. Slate said he would like to talk to us about that because how well we've done in the past on the programs they have given
So we
us.
can create with their help, a whole.
Well, I threw out to him the idea, could we combine CMO and collections and supervision and ask some other term, because in their modifications to the Texas Administrative Code, they talk about program staff, and does that mean community supervisions and corrections, our old adult probation officer, are they part of the court's resources to use in this supervision? The other thing, they've got some things that look like to me they're poorly scheduled in that, let's say someone appears in front of me, I give them, the DA has come in with a plea bargain and a fine that they've agreed to, then the judge hearing that has to ask them again, can you really pay this? Well, they've signed everything saying they can pay it, and then they can stand there and say, you know, it's really kind of a problem.
It's gonna be tough.
And then you agree, let's say on something else, well, you can have scheduled plans, or each court can make its own plan. Generally here, we've kind of followed the thing of having scheduled plans. But one of the conflicts, and Meredith, I sure appreciate yours and Maureen's view on this, or Becca and the view, to look at it, it looked like they're saying you don't bring the person back to fill out their financial information until after they default on the other. Well, let's get that financial information. Honestly, to me, at the time they come in with the plea bargain, it seems like that ought to be done and ready. The other thing I wanted to check out, Commissioner Beecham, we talked about in indigent health care about they had a better ability to look at income maybe than we're using to look at indigent defense appointments currently. And we were going to try running some names on whether they ever happened or not.
To my knowledge, it has not.
Okay, well, we need to maybe ask Kayla to get some names from Betsy and see what they can do to run them. But we are so limited on the ways to be able to look and determine whether somebody has income. Also, if they are receiving any kind of government assistance, they automatically qualify.
Even if they're receiving government assistance fraudulently, it's not up to us to.
No,
We
yeah.
can't say.
No.
I mean, we can see that it's obviously they should be getting it, but if they're getting it, we can't disqualify them from it.
Okay. Anyhow, that's where I'm going to spend a couple of days next week. And nice thing about it, it's all being covered, my travel and all, by the Judicial Education Committee. So that makes it a better deal. But they pay less on mileage than we do. So, all right. Anything else before we recess? Okay. It is 11:36, and we will recess until 1:30.